Well, welcome back to the channel, everybody. Wanted to show you what was going on with the Yamaha. I know a lot of guys have this problem, a lot of Mercury guys. Basically, I was not getting 100% throttle out of my motor, so when I had my hot foot at 100%, the accelerator position sensor was not opening all the way, so basically you're not getting your full horsepower potential. And it's a pretty complex system. Like I said, this is the accelerator position sensor. When this opens, the ECM reads what position it's at, and in return opens the throttle body and allows however much fuel. So the first issue that I ran into was my cable ends were too short. I went through a couple different ones, different lengths, and also the stroke on the throttle cable itself. So like, let's just say my hot foot from 0 to 100 is 2 inches. It wasn't enough stroke to open the APS sensor from 0 to 100. And in my experience on this engine, this line right here needs to line up with that arrow to achieve 100% throttle. Now, some people say that your ECM will learn your sensor, and even if it's not quite open all the way like mine wasn't, you could still be getting 100% throttle. However, when I first got it flashed, I took the boat out and I noticed that it wasn't performing like I thought it should, and so I took the cowling off while I was out there. I threaded my cable end out a couple turns, put it back on where it would open just a little more, and it picked up a lot. So I brought the boat home and I got my wife to hold the hot foot at 100%. I came over here, I made a mark, I took the cable off and turned the key on. Here is the throttle body, and then I took and held the APS sensor where the mark was, and as you can see, it wasn't open all the way, and when I moved it past where the mark was, it opened even more. And so basically what I found out on my engine is it needs to be lined up with the marks. Now, like I said, it's all computer controlled, so I thought maybe you could program the ECM to achieve 100% even when the sensor isn't. So I called around, called Hydrotech, a couple other places, and basically they were just not much help. Told me, a matter of fact, the guy at Hydrotech told me that I'm stuck with what I got. And for me, that's not gonna work. You know, I want every horsepower out of this engine that I paid for. So I called Hotfoot to see if they offered a different model with a longer stroke. I looked into getting different cables, and basically led me to just add another stud. So I went to a local hardware store, bought a stainless shoulder bolt, 2 jam nuts, drilled a hole in it, cut me a hole for my cotter pin. As you can see now with the stud that I added, the idle is actually very similar. So it fits on the new one at idle, and it even fits on the old one at idle. So it's relatively similar at idle, but at full throttle requires 3/4 of an inch less stroke. So now I'm gonna install it, put my cotter pin back in. So as you can see now, I got it installed. Everything's hooked up like it should be, and I'm gonna set my camera down so you can see. Hopefully you guys can see. I'm gonna go hit the hot foot to 100%, and you should see it line up like it should be. This is what I could come up with to solve the issue. I realize a lot of you guys probably aren't going to be wanting to drill a hole in your brand new engine, and I get that, but for me, you know, I want every horsepower that I paid for out of this engine, and so this is what it came to. And in case any of you guys are wondering, if you wanted to get your Yamaha flashed, all you got to do, take the top cover off and the back cover, which are laying right here. And here is your ECM. You want to disconnect the battery so that the engine has no power. And all you got to do is take these 4 bolts out, these 2 pins off, and send your ECM off, get it flashed. So now I finally am getting 100% throttle. If you have a flashed Yamaha, in my experience, the throttle body should open at least 90 degrees. Now a factory 200, 225, or 250 is not going to open all the way. It's like that from the factory. But if you have a flashed one, in my experience, it should open 90 degrees. And in my experience, this line right here needs to match up perfectly or over that mark to achieve 100% throttle. Now, with all that being said, I've ran the boat a couple times. Of course, not at 100% throttle, but it ran great. And I have yet to go out and try this 30 pitch prop. I just got done checking my prop to pad. So with the jack plate all the way down, my prop to pad is about 2.5 inches below. So I'm gonna start with that. That's probably where I'll leave it for a while until I get a nose cone mod where I can run it above the pad. So yeah, I'm super excited to go try it out tomorrow. Let me know in the comments what you think it's gonna run just like it is. 2.5 inches below, 30 pitch prop. Let me know what you guys think. I appreciate you guys checking the channel out. We'll see you on the next one.